Hey everybody, this is Deepak and you're watching Legal Minds. Dear friends, first of all, thank you for subscribing to my channel and supporting my videos. And previously, I had suggested 9 such books which every lawyer or law student must read, and you really supported that video, and it really inspired me to come up with new set of books which every lawyer or law student must read. So let us begin this part 2 with a beautiful book. And first book on my list is a book on history, and this book will be very useful if you are trying to clear any competitive examinations. It may be a civil service examination or judicial service examination or for general purpose. So the first book on my list is by Spectrum Publishers, A Brief History of Modern India, and this is a very nice book, and I like the size of this book. You can carry this book easily, and it is concisely written book which is incorporating important facts and informations as well as analytical comments on historical events. This book also contains an discussion on development on the social economic front during the period of Britishers. So it also talks about growth of press during that period. It talks about progress of education, and besides the economic impact of British rule and the British administrative policy, it also talks about different freedom fighters, their philosophies, and it also talks about nature and limitations of regional states, and it will give you a clear picture about everything which happened during the British rule and also the event which led to freedom of this country. So very important book. Please buy this book, start reading it. You can carry this book with you wherever you go. And the next book on my list is another history book, a very well written book, very technically written, very well analyzed, and this book is little technical. And if you don't have idea about history already, if you are new to history books, maybe you should start with some simple books and then you come for it. So this book is titled as Working a Democratic Constitution, an Indian Experience. This is written by Granville Austin, and he is an independent historian and a leading authority on Indian Constitution. And this book actually is very well known book, and also this is supported by various authorities on Indian Constitution. If you see Soli Swarabji, what he has written about this book, he says, superbly written with empathy, the gripping narrative tempts the reader on from one chapter to the next. It is a truly inspiring work. And also Falias Nariman talks about this book. It is monumental work based on a dedicated and painstaking research, must read for those interested in finding out how democracy can and does function in large, poor and highly diversified country. This book is a classical work, and it is must read for every judge, lawyer, historian, researcher and other interested persons. And this book also will give you an insight from working of Indian Constitution from 1950 to 1985 till the time of assassination of Indira Gandhi. It also talks about a Supreme Court decision on judges transfers case, which is a very controversial matter which came before Supreme Court. Please read that chapter as well. And it also talks about implementation of Mandal Commission report on special consideration to other backward classes. So this book is a very nice book, and it also contains lot of legal aspects and discusses Supreme Court judgments and various amendments in detail. So if you're a law student, this book will really help you to understand basic concepts. Now let us move on to other books. Dear friends, I personally feel if you want to develop your knowledge, if you want to develop your personality, we should always read biographies and autobiographies. So I have come up with a few biographies and autobiographies. The first autobiography on my list is on the greatest person to ever lived on this earth, the greatest leader, none other than Nelson Mandela. The book is titled as Long Walk to Freedom, and Nelson Mandela emulates the few great political leaders such as Lincoln and Mahatma Gandhi. And this book will give you clear picture on his life, how did he fight against racism in his country against blacks, and he was the first black president of South Africa, and also he was the first president who was elected a head of state as through representative elections. And he started writing this book in 1974 during his imprisonment. So please go for this book. It will really inspire you in your life to achieve whatever goals you have. Next book on my list here is friends, which I've already suggested in my previous video, but I couldn't tell you an entire review of this book. And this is a beautiful book. I'm a fan of this book. I'm a fan of this personality. It is a complete biography on Abraham Lincoln. Dear friends, this book will not only give you insight on life of Abraham Lincoln, but also it talks about entire history of United States of America from being a colony of Britishers and 13 colonies which came together to fight against Britishers for freedom with the leadership of George Washington. And it also talks about how Lincoln fought against slavery and also how did he deal with civil war in his times. So the greatest presidents of United States of America, he was a 16th president. Please read this book. It is very interesting and one of my favorites. Next book on my list is another autobiography on none other than the greatest, one of the famous presidents of United States of America. Yes, the 44th president of United States of America, Barack Obama, which is titled as Promised Land. And this is very interesting book, my friends, because younger generation would be able to connect with this book very much. And he started writing this book after time of his presidency, and it contains around 27 chapters, out of which the 27th chapter is most interesting because he gives you first-hand experience on capture of Osama bin Laden. So 27th chapter in this book is interesting, which will give you clear insight on how Osama bin Laden was captured in Abbottabad, Pakistan. So this book will give you also a modern history on United States of America, his policies. He was also a lawyer, so a law student or anybody interested in law also will be very much interested. And I would like to conclude my video with a final book, that is a novel. As you all know, I don't read novels that much. My friend suggested me to read this novel, which is titled as A Thousand Splendid Suns by a famous author, Khalid Hussain. And dear friends, this book will give you a clear insight on how life was in Afghanistan under Taliban, and especially how females had to struggle for their day-to-day activities and for everything they wanted in their life. So you can read this book. It is a very famous book actually. So please go for this and it will keep you captured. So dear friends, that's all I have it for today. So I'm coming up with yet another video with very unconventional books which you would have not expected me to review. So wait for it. And if you like this video, please share with your friends. Subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Jai Hind. Satyameva Jayate. If you have not seen my previous video on 9 such books which every lawyer or law student must read, so I will be adding the link of that video in my description. So please go through it. And also I'm making a video on a very unconventional book called Secret. And you must all know it is on law of attraction. It is very interesting. I'm going to try that book and I will make a review on that. So catch you soon. Thank you.